Hi everyone, this is Sneha. Hope you guys are doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how being unconditionally you is the key to manifesting your wishes and desires. And I'm going to go through a couple of reasons why we are not true to ourselves. So the first thing is we have been taught as kids to people please. And this is a habit that will take years and years to undo. But if you're going to make your subconscious more conscious and you make that conscious habit of learning when you're people pleasing, you'll be more proactive and do less of it. Now, as you do that, you may trigger people because they benefit off of you being a people pleaser. Now, in my opinion, people pleaser is just, you're avoiding the truth because you want to make somebody happy. You don't say the right thing to them because you don't want to affect that friendship, that relationship. It could be an aunt, it could be an uncle, it could be a parent, it could be a sibling. But because you don't want to have that deep conversation, feel those emotions, we avoid and suppress them. And then it all looks good in the 3D world. That's people pleasing. People pleasing is, in my opinion, a 3D way of living. Because if you're actually ascending, and if you've ascended, you realize that it doesn't matter what other people think. Not to say don't be, be mean to them, but be nice, be empathetic to a certain extent so that people don't step over you. Because what people pleasing can lead to is you're suppressing all of your emotions, which is the biggest factor in not manifesting our wishes and desires. And that could lead to your own illnesses, diseases. Diseases are just manifested because of these kind of things. So with that said, we be mindful of when you're doing people pleasing, and don't do it just because somebody told you. Do it because you want to do it from the bottom of your heart. And the second thing goes to the heart, because as you've done the people pleasing, you've lost your connection to your higher self. You've blocked all your chakras, and you have this fear of, if I do this, something bad's going to happen. If I do that, something bad's going to happen. So you're stuck in that fear mindset. So you're in this shell. You're afraid to do something outside your comfort zone for fear of what people will say, people will do or think. But then you forget that you need to be true to yourself. And most people don't even know what they want. Most people aren't even true to themselves, but you're worried about how people will think of you. Right? And so this goes into I need to buy a fancy house in the fancy neighborhood. I need to, get the most expensive designer outfit. So people will say, this is good. This goes into this whole competitive mode. Because that is part of people pleasing, right? You're competing with each other. You're playing that game of, okay, let's just, keeping up with the Joneses. And that's just it. It's people pleasing. Keeping up with the Joneses is also another thing that is just keeping us in this 3D world. If people stop understanding and thinking about what other people will think of them, and they start living a life true to themselves, opening up their chakras, staying aligned, they can manifest their wishes and dreams effortlessly. But the thing is, they don't know what they want because they've got all these layers as a result of people pleasing, trying to fit in with society, trying to compete with others, that they don't know in reality what they want. And that is actually the biggest problem, because most people don't know what they want. Because they have this belief of, if I do this, this is going to make me happy. And you wonder why there's so many people that, receive that title, that receive that, label, all these materials, they're unsatisfied. They don't feel happy within, because they're not aligned to themselves. They still haven't figured it out. That external world is supposed to be an extension of their internal world. But they're looking for the external world to define their inner world. And what can happen in that, respective is you can get everything you want, but if you are not in the best shape of your life, you won't be happy, right? And start speaking truths. Start speaking your truths. Because the more and more you hide these truths, the more and more you close your chakras, and the harder it is to open them as you get further along in life. Because the first 7 years of your life are the most critical. They basically set the stage for your future. Now, if you keep doing this, then it's going to be harder and harder. And this is why they say most people will never wake up. Because they're not. Because they have so much programming that they've been exposed to their whole life, and they haven't, shed these layers. They're going to probably have to come back in another lifetime to understand and learn these lessons. And this goes to, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all individually ascending from a soul perspective at a different level. I don't want to say level, but let's just say a school, right? Somebody from their soul perspective can be in kindergarten, and somebody can be in college. You can't compare a kindergartner with a college. You can't tell this because obviously we're in this human body, but you'll know from interaction with them, how wise they are. Because the older souls can pick up on things easily. They're more intuitive. They're more empathetic. They're more aware and conscious of their thoughts and their behavior around people. And this is why, these last couple of years we've seen and heard the Great Awakening. This is when many of these older souls can go through this whole process and get to enlightenment. Many of us just volunteered. Let me just put it this way, the truth. Many of us volunteered to be on this plane at this point in time to help others in their ascension process and help them understand what they need to get through to be their authentic selves, to stop people pleasing is one, to stop conforming to, what our outside world tells us, because we are going to be creating this new world. We're basically living in Kali Yuga and transitioning to the Aquarian age. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to be those brave souls who stand up, who speak up, who say the truth, who live in their authentic selves, and who manifest a life with pure intentions for us and our future generations. So be authentically you. On that note, please like my video if you like it. Give me any comments and suggestions if you have any, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you, and have a great one. Bye.